I'm Matira. My presentation is the introduction of Sultana's Dream by Rokeya Sakawat. Rokeya Sakawat is a Bengali feminist writer. She was born in 1880 in Bangladesh and died on 1932. She advocated gender equality and women's rights during times when ideas were considered revolutionary. She is not only a prolific writer but also a social activist. She founded the first school for Muslim girls, focusing on both traditional education and women's rights. Throughout her life, she has faced many societal norms advocating for women's education and empowerment. The story presents an imaginative and revolutionary portrayal of gender roles. The protagonist, Sultana, experiences a dream where women have achieved social and political dominance while men are locked behind the doors. The story explores theme of gender equality, education, and women's empowerment. Sultana's dream challenges traditional gender stereotypes and portrays a world where women are free from patriarchy. Thank you.
This is SL Ritikashri from First MA, and I'm going to give a characteristics of Sultana's Dream by Begum Rokeya. There are four main characters in Sultana Dreams. The characters are Sultana, Sister Sarah, the Queen, and the Lady Principal. Sultana is a narrator and central character of the story, and her name is feminized version of Sultan, an Arabic term used to refer to a sovereign ruler or powerful official. And she does not reside in Ladyland and is only able to visit it in a dream. Sister Sarah. Sister Sarah guides Sultana through Ladyland. Although Sister Sarah is what Sultana refers to her as, it is an important note that the Sister Sarah is only a parallel figure to woman that Sultana knows in her regular life. The Queen. The Queen of Ladyland, who rules using pacifist strategy and desires to transform Ladyland into a beautiful garden. In Ladyland, the Queen circulates the order that all women should be educated, and she also stops early marriage for girls and establish women's university where women are engaged in scientific research. The Lady Principal. The Lady Principal is a scientist who is responsible for Ladyland's original victory over an invading country, and which is also movement that allows the ladies to take advantage of circumstance and impression the men in order to find a ladyland.
Sultana's Dream by Rokeya Sakawat Hossain. The major themes are: it is a satiric fantasy which is published originally in English in the Indian Ladies Magazine of Madras, and it considered a part of Bengali literature. It depicts a feminist utopia in which run everything and take the place of men. Crime is eliminated since men were considered responsible for all of it. The religion is one of love and truth. Purity is held above all. The major themes are feminism, science and innovation, female education, critique of patriarchal society. The first one we are going to see about the feminism. Sultana's Dream is a radical depiction of matriarchal society where female rule leads to peace, equality and prosperity. When the male influence and male power structures are eliminated, society is able to evolve into a utopia. Progress flourishes and technological advancement becomes immense, which the certain of our cars, self-irrigation, land, air, travel, and the wealth of resource. The female society experiences no violence and has no need to turn to oppression. Instead, the women exist as equal without power hierarch- hierarchies and are able to cohabited with both each other and the land in a. The next we are going to see about science and innovation. Ladyland is propelled by progressive scientific innovation which is only possible with the removal of oppressive male power structure the women eliminate by restricting the men to the wilderness. The engineer flying cars, the install plumbing in home, and even control the weather with large water balloons that can dispense water when necessary. The women uses of science is also a criticism of the male dominant scientific field of the time, which primarily used science in ways that harmed the natural world or strengthened modes of enacting violence upon others. The next is female education. Ladyland feminist utopia emerged as a direct result of accessible female education when the queen passes an order that all women should be educated. Women are able to receive a proper scientific education and being to turn their attention towards innovations. After the order is passed, universities for women are built, where women like the lady principal who invents the sun heat harnessing machines and the lady principal who creates the water balloons are able to fully rise to their intellectual potential. The stories on education reflect Rokeya's own devotion to female education and empowerment. Critique of patriarchal society. Sultana's dream in portraying an idyllic all-female society criticizes male power structure, including potential religious and social instruction that were all male-dominated at the time of the story composition. Religion in Ladyland, for example, is focused on love and truth, which implies that religion is regular. Patriarchal society is the opposite and fails to embody these values. The explicit mention of certain items such as the Koh-i-Noor and peacock throne make the story criticism even more explicit as they overly refers the Mughal dynasty and condemn the Mughal Empire focuses on extravagant riches and military welfare.
Hello ma'am, this is H. Taslima from first year MA English. I am here to give a summary about Sultana's Dream that was written by Rokeya Sakawat Hossain. Sultana's Dream is a short science fiction story by Rokeya Begum written in 1905. It was first published in Indian Ladies magazine. Rokeya Begum was a pioneering feminist and social reformer in British India and a work advocated for women's rights and education. In 1905, she wrote Sultana's Swapna, one of the earliest depictions of feminist utopia. The story is framed as the dream experienced by an unnamed narrator. Key themes in Sultana's Dream include the reversal of gender roles, the empowerment of women, potential for a more equitable society. Sultana's Dream remains a significant work in the realm of feminist literature, early science fiction, and it continues to inspire discussion about gender equality and societal process. The story highlights the potential for women's empowerment and gender roles. In this prose, Rokeya discusses about the Parda system, female seclusion, gender roles, patriarchy, colonialism, nationalism, and religious rules. Let's see the detailed summary about Sultana's Dream. The story begins with the narrator thinking lazily of the condition of Indian womanhood. She falls asleep. A friend's sister Sarah enters the room and wishes a good morning, although it is a night time.
Sarah asks her to come outside and walk in the garden, and the narrator discovers that indeed light outside and the streets are filled with people. The narrator is ready to be embarrassed, afraid she will encounter a man while she is walking in the street in broad daylight, an action that is taboo for women at that time. But strangely, there are no men out. Passerby laugh at her in language she cannot quite understand. Sister Sarah says that they are saying she looks mannish, that she is acting timid like men do. The narrator does not understand her and suddenly realizes she is not walking with a friend at all. This woman is a stranger. She tells the woman, still referred to her sister Sarah, that she is uncomfortable walking around without a veil on. Sister Sarah tells her she need not worry about her veil. She is in Ladyland and does she not need to worry about encountering man while unveiled. The narrator looks around and sees that Ladyland is like a garden. The narrator asks where all the men are, and Sister Sarah explains that in Ladyland men are kept indoors just as women are kept indoors in India. The narrator says it is not safe for women to come out of the zenanas, women quarters, because they are naturally weak, and Sister Sarah replies that this is only true when men or wild animals are out in the street. Sarah compares the idea of keeping women indoors while men roam free to locking up the sane and letting the insane loose because men are more capable of harm. The narrator explains she has no choice in keeping to zenanas. Women have no voice in their own affairs in India. Everything is decided by men whose strength makes them lord and master. Sister Sarah argues that lions are stronger than men, but that does not mean lions rule the world. She says women in India has lost their rights by ignoring their best interest. The narrator and Sister Sarah sit together. Sister Sarah begins to embroider, explaining that although this is all women have to do in the zenana, women in Ladyland still do this work, rather than giving it to the men, who do not have the patience to thread a needle. She explained that she is able to do both the domestic work of women and the office work of men because women are more efficient. Men, on the other hand, can stretch 2 hours of work into 7, smoking and talking rather than getting down to business. Sister Sarah also tells the narrator that in Ladyland there are no epidemics or even mosquitoes bite. It is rare for anyone there to die young. She shows the narrator their solar technologies as well. They use solar energy to cook their food. She says these new technologies were developed some years ago, after their country queens mandated that all women be educated and bade them for marrying until they were at least 21. Women universities invented ways to draw water from the sky and energy from the sun. While women were inventing new technologies, the men of the countries were focused on the military strength and laughed at the women invention. In response, the neighboring country kings declared war. All the men of Ladyland went to fight the enemy but were defeated. One of the lady principals came up with a plan to defeat the enemy but said all the remaining men must confine to the zenanas. The next day, the lady principal and her students marched to the battlefield and directed all the sun's rays towards the advancing army, and the enemy retreated. So far it has been 10 years and they have not been needed. Sister Sarah explained the system is called Mardana. Marda is the Urdu word for men. Ever since the Mardana system, there has no crime and no need for the criminal justice at all. Sister Sarah continues to explain how the Ladyland slave labor field are tiled by machine. And also she said that there are no railroads or paved streets. So there are no rails or street accidents. Either a sprinkler system keeps everyone cool in summer while stored solar energy keeps them warm in winter. Sarah also discusses that religion is based on love and truth. No one is punished with death. Any offenders are simply banished, though they are forgiven if they repent. The narrator asks if she can meet the queen, and Sister Sarah obliquely assembles a hydrogen-powered air car that takes them to her. The queen greets them both and tells the narrator about their trade. Ladyland trades only with the women of other countries, not men. They prefer to seek knowledge rather than wealth and try to enjoy what nature provides them. The narrator tours Ladyland but wakes up to discover she is back in her chair in India. Ladyland was all her dream and she realized that was in her dream. Thank you.
I am R. Gayatri. I am here to address analysis of Sultana's dream. Sultana's Dream is a short science fiction story by Rokeya Sakawat Hossain, also known as Rokeya Begum, written in 1905, first published in India Ladies Magazine and later republished in book form in 1908. The story began as an exercise for Rokeya to show her husband her mastery of English language. It details an unnamed narrator's dream of Indian feminist utopia. The story is first known for Indian science fiction. Hossain was an early feminist and founder of Calcutta's first Islamic school for girls, as well as Muslim women's organization. Sultana's Dream by Rokeya Sakawat Hossain, who is also commonly known as Rokeya Begum, is a futuristic science fiction feminist story that was first published in a Madras English newspaper called The Ladies Magazine in 1905 and later it was published in book format in the year 1908. The story is set in an utopian place called Ladyland. In this story, the author reverses the gender roles and we see the women as the dominant gender. In Ladyland, the women call the shots and men live a confined life akin to the traditional Muslim parda system where the men are closed inside zena like the women are closed inside their homes in India. The women are the modern architects in Ladyland and they are the engineers and scientists of the world. An author depicts a far more technically advanced, efficient and peaceful world than the one we live in reality, which is ruled by men. This is the image of Sultana, who is lazily sitting in her lounging chair and dreaming about Ladyland. The story takes with witty pot shots at the traditional patriarchal system and highlights the need and importance of gender equality, women's education, and agency. Hossain emphasizes how most of the world's problems are man-made, and if women take charge, most of these problems will cease to exist. A world ruled by women would mean lesser crime and more peace and harmony. In Hossain's utopian Ladyland, we see women on top as scientists and world leaders working collaboratively for the well-being of all, unlike a man's world on earth where it is competitive, chaotic, and destructive. I found Sultana's Dream by Rokeya Sakawat Hossain ahead of its time, a progressive story that deals with the subject of feminism, education, and environmentalism. It is not surprising because Rokeya Sakawat Hossain knew how to read and write, a rarity for women born in those times. It's also no surprise that Sultana's Dream is among the first stories to be written in English by women in colonial times. The story is a distant landmark in Indian literature in English. This is the image of Ladyland and also the image of kitchen which is associated in the garden of Ladyland where the women take their own vegetables, cultivate and prepare food with their own vegetables cultivated by them. But what's shocking is that we still have the patriarchal system pick and place. It forces women to drop out of their workplaces after a particular stage of their life, and the glass ceiling still exists. We still need more women in politics to protect our rights and interests. We still need more women scientists and environmentalists to take charge and help us live in a better, more equal and think that women comes forward in the society and thrives very successfully. Thank you all.
Hello everyone, this is Mary Jasmita Rose from First MA English. Today I am going to discuss how to apply radical theory in Sultana's Dream written by Rokeya Begum, who is famous for or feministic writing. And this is the cover page of the book Sultana's Dream. Radical feminist theory is basically a type of feminist theory which deals with the domination and the oppression of women, and it also suggests to break out from the stereotypical system that putting the women down. I have included a few evidence from the book Sultana's Dream which supports the idea of radical feminist theory. This is a quote taken from the book Sultana's Dream. Here, the speaker is confessing that she felt very awkward to walk in the midst of the road uh, in the state where she is unrevealing her face, she is opening up her identity to the society. But then, the so called Sister Sarah suggests that here nobody will judge you based on your appearance or your unveiled face because there's no men here. Men are not going to judge you or put you down as what you always face in your reality, which means the real world. And she also says that she's not used to the, she also conveys that she's not used to revealing her face, revealing her identity to anyone except her family. But then she was put in a position, she was given freedom in this ladyland. So they felt it is very virtue to stay in the ladyland. And here it is a best example for the radical feminist theory as how the normal system, which was dominated by the men, is like they need to cover their face, need to cover their identity, they should not show their face to anyone. There's a lot of limitation and restriction for them. But then the radical feminists has suggest they are breaking out from the stereotypical norms which are putting them down, and they are unrevealing a face, unrevealing the identity, like how radical feminists suggest. This is one of the best example to state the radical feminist theory from the text. So here she mentioning about the custom of women being put in the zanana in the real world and men are walking outside the streets freely. But then it's just quite opposite to the real incident in the Ladyland. Men are shut down here and women are allowed to go anywhere, everywhere as they want. So this is the system. This is some, what is it? A strategy or a method that just opposite to the real world and just opposite to the patriarchy. But I somehow some extra it seems like it is matriarchy where women are dominant. It doesn't seems like equality to myself as uh, the men and women are not treated equally. Only in the worst part they are treated equally. Like men are put them in tanana, men are shut them down. Then women are also doing the same in the ladyland. So there is no difference. There is no one here actually doing the right thing. So in the real world, men are dominated, men are very patriarchy, men suppressing women, and here in the ladyland, women suppressing men. Women are dominant. So the question mark is that is a really ladyland come under the equality system or matriarchy system? But then it is just opposite to the male dominance. So it is a best suitable example for the radical feminist theory. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
Hi, I am Sangameshwari, here to conclude the Sultana's Dream by Rokeya Begum.
Conclusion. Sultana's dream is a dreamland where women have taken over and men are confined to a separate space. This inversion of traditional gender roles is a powerful commentary on women's empowerment. Sultana's dream conveys a vision of a society where women are in charge, science and technology are harnessed for the benefit of all, and, and peace prevails. This utopian dream serves as a call to action for gender equality and women's liberation. Thank you.